Taxonomy. When it comes to taxonomy, you will find many different types of definitions. I was looking around and I looked deep and I found very similar definitions and came up with a very simplistic one. This one that says that it's just the science of classifying organisms. So this implies classification, and this implies the subject of this classification, living things. And depending on the textbook that you are reading, you will find different numbers of avenues for this classification. This one is bringing you 5 avenues. This one, which is normally grouped into Monera, and this involves bacteria and archaebacteria. They are called prokaryotes. Why? Easy. They don't have nucleus. That's why they are called prokaryotes. No nucleus. Yeah. The other big classification that we have in here is this one. This is the group of the eukaryotes. Eukaryotes, unlike prokaryotes, they have nucleus. So yeah, these guys, they really have nucleus. So nucleus, check. So Protista, fungi, plantae, animalia, all of these guys, they have nucleus. They are eukaryotes. But anything with a termination of bacteria on it, eubacteria and archaebacteria, they are prokaryotes. No nucleus in them. So don't get confused. Sometimes your textbook will talk about 5 different kingdoms. Sometimes it's going to talk about 6 different kingdoms. The only difference is right here. If you break this Monera, this kingdom Monera, into 2, you will get eubacteria and archaebacteria. That will make 6. But if you group these 2 into Monera, that will be just 5. So, but it's basically the same, and both are correct. Okay, so for now, let's have in mind that archaebacteria and eubacteria will lay down together in this Monera kingdom. Protista, fungi, plantae, and the animal kingdom, they will be on its own. Okay. Carolus Linnaeus, he was a biologist in the 1700s. He must be a very tough guy. He put order to all this chaos, and he came out with these taxonomic or major divisions that we have now. We have kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. You probably remember that little mnemotechnia. King Philip came over for good spaghetti. With this taxonomic subdivision, as you go down, you get more and more specific. But let's see an example so we can better understand. Let's start with us. Okay, so what will be our kingdom? Yeah, it will be the animal kingdom. What will be our phylum? Well, since we have backbone, we are Chordata. Our class, we are all mammals, so our class will be Mammalia. What will be our order? Yeah, we come from this primates, so our order will be Primata. Our family, now it starts to look a little bit more like our usual name, Hominidae. Genus, Homo, and our species, Homo sapiens, just sapiens, which means thinking. This is our taxonomic subdivision as humans. We belong to the kingdom of the animal kingdom, Chordata. We are in the class Mammalia, in the order of the primates. The family is Hominidae, genus Homo, species Sapiens. Let's do another example. Since we are in Texas, let's do an armadillo. Yeah, why not? So what will be the kingdom of our armadillo friend? He will be in the animal kingdom, right? The phylum, he has also a backbone, like us. So he is also chordata. Class, he's also a mammal. So his class is going to be Mammalia. Now the order is different. We were primates. His order is Singulata. His family, Cipodidae. Genus, Dasypus. And the species, Novemsyntyx. I don't know if I have enough space to write this down. I think I do. All right, that will be our armadillo. Kingdom animal. He's a phylum Chordata. He's a mammal. Singulata as the order. Family, the Cipodidae. Genus, Dasypus. And species, Novemsymtyx. All right. What we're going to do right now is we're going to compare each of the kingdoms inside of this little table. So we have each kingdom. We have Eubacteria and Archaebacteria. Remember, some textbooks group these two kingdoms into Monera. So just for you to know, if you see Monera, they are putting Eubacteria and Archaebacteria together. But in this table, we're going to separate them. We also have Protista, fungi, plantae, and animalia. Okay, so what you see on the table is that all of them are eukaryotes except these guys. Protista, fungus, plants, and animals, all of them are eukaryotes, meaning the cells that make up these organisms contain nucleus. Unlike these bacteria and archaebacteria, these cells don't have nucleus. That's what prokaryote means. Okay, after the nucleus, the next characteristic that we are going to analyze across all the kingdoms is the existence of cell wall. So, Eubacteria, does it have cell wall? Yes. Archaebacteria, does it have cell wall? Sure. Protista, sometimes they have, sometimes they don't. Fungi, yay, they have cell walls. Plantae, plants, yeah, you know that. That's one of the characteristics of plant cells. Animals, do they have cell walls? They don't. Your cells, my cells, those cells don't have cell walls, okay? Number of cells. Eubacteria is unicellular, so only one cell. Archaebacteria, same case, only one cell. Protist, my goodness, these guys, they can have one cell or they can have more than one. Fungus, some fungus are unicellular, others are multicellular, so it's one or more than one. Plants and animals, they are all multicellular, they are all containing numerous cells. So these are multicellular by definition, plants and animals. Now, regarding to the energy intake, meaning do they do their own food or do they eat, we're going to classify them as well. Eubacteria, and these guys are good. They can be autotrophs. For autotroph, I'm going to do a little sun. And they can also eat. This is a spoon. Eubacteria can be both. Same for Archaebacteria. They can be autotrophs, meaning they process or make their own food. Some of them, they also eat. They prey on other organisms. Protista, same deal. I really like this group. Protista, they are extremely weird. They also can be autotrophs or heterotrophs. Remember, the little spoon is the heterotroph. The little sun is the autotroph. Fungus. You know that fungus, they eat decaying material, so they are only heterotrophs. They have to eat. What do they eat? Dead stuff. That's what fungus does. Now plants, man, this is exclusively autotroph. Let's do a very beautiful sunshine here for autotroph. And animals, and you know this, all animals are heterotroph. They have to eat. Okay, now let's look at some examples. The guy that we have in this picture, he is heterotroph because he needs to eat. What does he eat? Decaying material, dead stuff. They have, although, cell walls, right? Because what this is a fungus. Yep, let's put it right here. This is definitely a multicellular fungus. It's a eukaryote, which means that it has cells that contain nucleus. Okay, and of course has cell wall. It's a heterotroph and is multicellular. Let's go for the next for our next customer. Now let's look at this beautiful specimen. It is an autotroph because it gets the energy from the sun. Is multicellular, and the cells contain cell walls made out of cellulose mainly. This is a nice, beautiful plant. It's actually a chili pepper plant. Very, very spicy. Alright, now say hello to Maxi. So definitely this is a multicellular organism. It's a heterotroph because he has to eat. His cells do not have cell walls, right? See that big X on the cell wall column? That means that animals do not have cell walls. Let's see, what else do we have? Okay, now you look at this and you will say right away, bacteria! Yeah, it's bacteria, but this is gonna be a tricky, very tricky exercise because this diagram can easily represent eubacteria and archaebacteria. So how in heavens are you gonna know if it is gonna be eubacteria or archaebacteria? Well, you need a little extra piece of information because they need to tell you if the cell walls of these bacteria have or don't have peptidoglycan. So if they have peptidoglycan, that means it's an eubacteria. But if they don't have peptidoglycan, it's going to be an archaebacteria. But in reality, they will look pretty much the same on any test. So you will need that extra piece of information. Otherwise, all you can say is one type of bacteria. You cannot say if it is eubacteria or archaebacteria. Now, my favorite classification. Look at this guy. This guy is a protista, but protista is not very clearly defined. Actually, if it is not an animal, if it is not a plant, if it is not a fungus, if it is not bacteria, therefore it's going to be protista. That's how bizarre and diverse this protista kingdom is. Look at this guy, for instance, is so extremely amazing that this guy not only can eat and prey on other microorganisms, he even has chloroplast. How cool is that? Like, okay, if I don't have anything in the menu today, I'm just gonna do photosynthesis and get my own food, make my own food. What do you think about it? Super cool, huh? So this is one of my favorites. We have this protista, and we're going to place it in its right place. Remember, They may or may not have cell walls. They may or may not be unicellular. And they can be, like this protista, both autotroph and heterotroph. They can make their own food or they can prey. Imagine. Okay, I hope you like this review.